Hello again, Guardians, and welcome back to the channel for another Destiny episode. Now, before we get deep into this video and conversation and talking about top 5 weapons of any means, I'd like to first announce I'm giving away 1,000 silver this week on the channel, or a Destiny emblem from the Bungie.net store. All you have to do to enter and win is be subscribed, show your support by liking the video, and then leave a comment down below in reference to Age of Triumph, Destiny 2, or any of the weapons we discuss in this video. Now, also, one last thing. What's your favorite weapon out of the Vault of Glass, Crota's End Raid, King's Fall Raid, or Wrath of the Machine? Your top favorite weapon. Just leave a comment down below alongside your additional comment about the video. To get into this video, it's the top 5 weapons you should go and farm for immediately after the Age of Triumph drops. Now, this is also a very skeptical video because there's a few people out there that might not opt in for all 5 of these weapons. There's also a few of those people out there that will try to swap the positions of some of these weapons. But this is kind of an opinion from me and my friends and, all of my fire teams I've played with this week and have actually discussed this topic. Alongside that, we made a video like this once before, and one of the guns was actually taken out due to the fact that it's not coming back in a Year 3 version, which is known as the Black Hammer. So with Black Hammer not coming back, we decided to remake this video and give it a little bit more detail with an honorable and a notable mention. To begin, the very first weapon at our top 5 spot is going to be Praetorian's Foil. It's a fusion rifle from the Vault of Glass, and a lot of people were using it inside of Crucible back in Year 1. It was actually a fairly decent fusion rifle, and we put it at our top 5 spot because of the whole special weapon ammunition change in Crucible, and the only means of use of this weapon is inside of Crucible, so therefore, since special weapon got nerfed and it only pops up every 60 seconds and you lose special weapon ammunition when you die, we put it in the top 5 spot. Next up in the top 4 spot is going to be Vex Mythoclast, the exotic fusion rifle primary with solar damage, and that's in the 4th spot just because it is good in Crucible if you know how to use it, but it's not useful in any PvE events, and it's very hard to get used to the recoil. But it is a fan favorite weapon, and a lot of people are going to strive to get this exotic at a light level of 400, and that's why it's in our 4th spot, because everybody wants it, and everybody's excited for it to come back. Number 3 spot is going to be Necro Chasm. The only reason why this is above the Vex Mythoclast is it's an auto rifle. It did get buffed up just a little bit, and I've actually tested it out in Crucible, and it's quite surprisingly good. Alongside that, just like the Vex, it's getting an ornament, which makes it look even better. And it's also a raid exotic, which everybody's excited to go and get. And since it was a raid exotic with its own quest line, and now it's getting a remade quest line to probably make the quest line go a bit smoother as of what Bungie stated, this is a very interesting weapon and is probably one of the top 5 weapons you'd want to go and get. Number 2 on the countdown is going to be the Vision of Confluence, but it's not just the normal Vision of Confluence, it's the Adept version. The Adept version of the Vision of Confluence is going to be an exotic version with the solar damage on the primary weapon. It will be an Adept exotic, so you have to take up an exotic slot to use it, but since the Vision of Confluence was such a great scout rifle with full auto attached to it inside of Crucible during Year 1, we want to bring it back and get to use it inside of the Year 3 Crucible as well. Also alongside that, all primaries are pretty much godlike right now in the Crucible, so running that with a sidearm would be very beneficial. So number 2 spot. Now what's the number 1 spot? Well, that's the fan favorite Fatebringer, but not just any Fatebringer. You can put the normal Fatebringer up there, but the number 1 spot is going to be the Adept exotic version of the Fatebringer with the arc damage, and we're going to be bringing that back because that is useful for PvE events, and that is also useful for Crucible. I got to test out the Year 1 Fatebringer in Crucible just recently, and I posted some videos up about it, and it's actually fairly decent, surprisingly. And bringing it up to a 400 light level, we'll be able to use it inside of strikes and inside of raids alongside that with the arc damage. This gun is actually a fairly devastating weapon, and I'm really excited it's coming back. So that is why it's in our number 1 spot. But wait, Guardians, we are not done yet. Our list is complete on the top 5, but there's a few weapons we really wanted to add to the video and we really wanted to talk about. So we have an honorable and a notable mention. The honorable mention is the corrective measure. It is the machine gun out of the Vault of Glass, and this gun is honorable mention due to the fact that the corrective measure worked really well against oracles in the Vault of Glass, especially if you didn't have a super good advice or you didn't have Praetorian's foil. Now, the super good advice is a very good machine gun to use, but it's an exotic. So if you want to run Fatebringer or, say, Vision of Confluence or any of the other raid primaries with any damage at all, then you're going to want to run something else that works just like super good advice in Vault of Glass, which would be the corrective measure. So the corrective measure is a really good machine gun to go for and grind for in the Vault of Glass, and be careful because for some reason the corrective measure doesn't drop for everybody right away. So grinding for it might actually have to be done. Congratulations, Guardians, but if you get the corrective measure right off the bat, you won't have to use super good advice inside of the Vault of Glass anymore. Getting into the next one, the notable mention is going to be two of them. The Fang of Iriut, Adept, and the Word of Crota, Adept. Now, the Fang of Iriut was a pretty good scout rifle, and it came from Crota's End Raid, and I want to bring it back because the Adept version is going to be interesting to use. Alongside that, the normal version is still going to be very interesting to use, and I actually enjoyed using the Fang of Iriut back in year one. But next to that is the Word of Crota, the Adept version, due to the fact that if you use the Word of Crota right now inside of Crucible, it's actually not that bad. And I kind of want to be able to use just the Word of Crota and also test out the Adept version inside of the Crucible. So both the Fang of Iriut Adept and normal, the Word of Crota Adept and normal are on our notable mentions. And there you have it, Guardians. That's all the information for this video, and I hope it helped anybody try to figure out what they need to grind for when the Age of Triumph drops at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Use a calculator to try to figure out your time zone along with the corresponding time I've just given you. But that is it for this video. I hope it all helped, and if it did, leave a like. Remember to leave a comment to enter in for the 1,000 silver giveaway. And as always, Guardians, stay violent, be privileged.